A former GOP representative has a message for all the people who are tired of all these mass shootings. Stop voting for Republicans. Watch.
Let's be brutally honest about what we do know, and I say this as a Republican. Republicans will never do anything on gun control. Consider last summer you had Republican members of Congress shot and nearly killed during a softball practice, and they did nothing. After the Pulse nightclub, Democrats had a sit-in in the House. Republicans did nothing. After Vegas, hundreds injured, over 50 killed. Republicans did nothing. The idea of gun policy in the Republican Party is to try to get a speaking slot at the NRA and prove to that constituency that you're further right than generations past of Republicans have been on guns. And there's a disconnect with the American people and the heartbreak of the American people tonight. And so if this is the issue that defines your ideology as a voter, there are two things I would suggest tonight. First, flip the House. Flip the House. Republicans are not going to do a single thing after this shooting we saw today. But I would also offer to Democrats, work for incremental wins. And what I mean by that is this. We can do comprehensive universal background checks, and we can do it with the support of the law enforcement community, which typically is a conservative Second Amendment group. The law enforcement community wants universal background checks. They want greater restrictions on assault rifles. Democrats should go to the law enforcement community and say, we're going to leave the Republicans behind. Let's work on this together right now and get the will of the American people to be enacted in the United States Congress.
Look, man, so at this point, I'm willing to go with whatever on that solution. And I think most people also are willing to go with something, some sort of action. So, yeah, if you want to work with law enforcement groups, whatever, to try and get more federal background checks, I am not against that. I'm not against that. But so this is, but what's important here is that, again, you've got a Republican here, an ex-Republican lawmaker, saying that this is the truth. The Republican Party is so entrenched in the money that they receive from the NRA and the tiny fraction of people that continue to vote for Republicans that are insane with their so-called gun rights, right? I mean, he says, look, Republicans, they're never going to do anything. I know, I'm a Republican. All my colleagues do is that they serve the donors and they pander to the far-right idiots that think that more guns is going to solve the gun problem. That's a pretty clear denunciation of the Republican plan. Look, these people receive millions of dollars in campaign bribes. Let me give you an example. Marco Rubio's out there talking about, oh, you know, thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers. That's the thing that they always say, thoughts and prayers. We're going to give you more thoughts and prayers. When your thoughts and prayers haven't done jack shit. So spare me your fucking thoughts and prayers. Anyway, so now immediately he goes on Fox News right after the shooting, says, well, there's no law that could have prevented this. None that we know of. Why don't we wait for the facts to come out? You know how much money Marco Rubio, talking about facts, how much money Marco Rubio received from the NRA during his career? He's gotten $3.3 million in legalized bribes. You think he gives a shit? Absolutely not. Maybe he does in his own weird way. I don't know. But he's so blinded by the money. They're all blinded by the money. Look, they didn't even consider doing anything. And Jolly mentioned this as well. They didn't consider doing anything after one of their own was shot. Steve Scalise. Steve Scalise, shot by some crazy guy, right? Who had a gun during a baseball game. And what did the Republicans do? Nothing you can do. It's the price of freedom. It's the price of freedom. Well, I don't want to pay your price. I don't care about your, I don't care about your freedom to have whatever weapon that you want. I care about Americans' freedoms to live, to actually not have to go out and fear getting shot. And we have an epidemic right now, okay? Again, on average, we have a school shooting in 2018 of over one every 2.5 days. And you got most Republicans out here that are instinctively protecting the NRA. Why do they do that? It's because they're in love with the money. They're in love with the money. They're not going to do a single thing that we're in charge, even if it threatens one of their own. Yeah, Saturday. Hey, maybe I'll get your part of the NRA money. It's sick, 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 sick. And look, they're not going to do a single thing now that they're in charge. President Trump's like, oh no, we're going to look into gun violence. Jeff Sessions, don't worry, we're going to offer solutions. You know what their solutions are going to be? More guns. I call it right now, more guns. Because that's what their donors want. And even when they weren't in charge, by the way, they blocked, they stalled, they filibustered, they killed any sort of bill that would expand background checks or stop anybody who shouldn't have a gun to be able to get a gun. Again, that's what their donors want, right? It's because the gun industry is an industry of death. Their products are designed to kill people. And look, these corporations, these gun manufacturers, they're a company. They're held to their share, they're held by their shareholders. What do the shareholders want? They want more profit. They want more of a bottom line. They're a machine. And their product literally has one purpose, and that is to kill things. And so it doesn't matter if the things that they kill end up being your kids or your friends or you. Doesn't matter because we got to pursue that bottom line. Profit over everything. They've got no other purpose. And the guns have no other purpose than to kill things. So maybe, I don't know, maybe we should actually try to make sure that at the very least these guns don't end up in the wrong hands. But Republicans are never, ever going to be in favor of that. If you give a crap about this issue, don't vote for Republicans, man. They're not on your side. I have a lot of problems with the Democrats. But on this issue, at least most of them, and I say most of them, and there are some of them that have great ratings, have received money from the gun industry as well. Joe Manchin is one of them. A lot of the centrist corporate Democrats in pro-gun states, they take a lot of money from the gun industry. But for the most part, at least Democrats are a little bit stronger on this issue. Because the Republicans, as long as that money keeps pouring in, they will never be on your side. So we got to do something about it. At least we got to get rid of these Republicans, or else nothing is ever going to change, and we're going to continue to see people gunned down in their schools, in nightclubs, everywhere, out on the street, and they won't do anything about it. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.